Hi, I'm Katy Milkman. I'm a behavioral scientist and professor at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, and I've spent the better part of the last 2 decades studying behavior change. I'm the author of a new book on this very topic, which is called How to Change: The Science of Getting from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. I want to start by telling you a story I love that captures a core message of the book. It's about one of my favorite athletes, tennis player Andre Agassi. If you didn't grow up with a poster of Agassi in your room like I did, you might not know that his now legendary career got off to a rocky start. In the early 90s, he was already famous, but primarily for being the bad boy of tennis. He sported wild hair and wild outfits, and he'd starred in some memorable commercials.
These are the images of a rebel. Canon's revolutionary new autofocus EOS Rebel.
But his ranking was frankly embarrassing. Other American players he'd grown up beating in junior competitions were dominating the Pro Tour, while Agassi's rank had fallen to 31st in the world. Then, he had a dinner that changed everything. This dinner was with another player, Brad Gilbert, who had recently written a best-selling book called Winning Ugly. Over Italian food, Gilbert laid out what he thought was wrong with Agassi's approach to tennis. He told Agassi that he was making things far too hard on himself. In match after match, he was trying to win by hitting perfect shots, focusing only on himself and his technique. Gilbert contended that instead of taking such a self-focused approach, Agassi needed to learn to find his opponent's weaknesses and then tailor his game to take advantage of them. He was putting too much pressure on himself to be perfect, and not doing enough to turn the odds in his favor. As Agassi recounts in his best-selling memoir, Open, he immediately saw the wisdom in Gilbert's words and convinced Gilbert to coach him. And later that year, Agassi took home the US Open trophy in a surprise win. Soon after that, he rose to number 1 in the world, a title he eventually held for over 100 weeks in his career. There would be more ups and downs for Agassi, but a major turning point came with Gilbert's advice about tailoring his game to the particular opponent he faced. I love this story because I found that Gilbert's insight wasn't just crucial to changing Agassi's fortunes in tennis. It's also key to making much more ordinary kinds of positive life change, like getting fit, saving more money, or performing better at work. Too often, we try a one-size-fits-all approach to making these kinds of changes, following the latest fad. Maybe we set big, audacious goals or try to build tiny habits, but instead, we should be tailoring our tactics to match whatever internal opponents are standing in our way. After all, the barriers to change are highly varied. Sometimes you lack self-confidence. Sometimes you find it unpleasant to pursue your goal. Maybe you can't find the motivation to get started, or you forget what you need to do when. Maybe you don't have the social support you need, or you tend to fall back on unhelpful habits. Whatever it is, the new science of behavior change has valuable solutions to offer. But you have to understand what's holding you back in order to move forward. I'd never tell you that change is easy, because it isn't. But like Agassi, you can put yourself in far better position for success if you understand your opponent and come up with a targeted plan of attack. My book shares what I've learned about the most common barriers to change, and more importantly, what you can do to overcome them.